I mean, I think the great thing about Indiana, the interesting thing about Indiana, what we've kind of been talking about Indiana, is that hell, I can say T.J. McConnell be the Finals MVP out here if they come out and put if my man Halliburton goes down in the first quarter, and all of a sudden T.J. McConnell has to come off the bench, comes out here and does some Magic Johnson type stuff. I mean, he's already did something that no one else has done. They said he's the first player to have 5 steals and 5 assists or something off the bench in an NBA Finals. I don't know. I saw something like that. So I think that's the cool thing about the Pacers, man. You know, anyone could be it, man. So, like I said, I mean, hell, even a Toppin has been really good coming off the bench in some of these games, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, my goodness, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bonnie.
Give it to Halliburton.
It's not decided yet. It's going to be whoever has the best game 7. If whoever gets hot late, hits the big shot, they'll be the one who gets it. I guess right now, Siakam, you know, simply for like some kind of points leading benefit there. He could have that team leader role. He's been here before with the Raptors. I see McConnell doing it. If he plays the way he's been doing when he gets his minutes and they win, it'll look like it's his doing. So I'm going to say TJ.
It's funny. I see all these compliments in the chat for Siakam. The game that the Pacers should have won, they went into the 4th with the lead. I was sitting there thinking about doing a video about how shitty Siakam was playing. Maybe it was just a particular stretch, but I was like, Jesus Christ, dude, what are you doing? But you can't judge someone by a stretch. Here, my answer is going to be a little bit different. I am made nervous by how many posts ESPN has put out about the history that Shea will make if he wins, you know, because he got the league MVP and he's young going into the finals, and that's going to be like some sort of a record, and then he's going to get the championship and get the finals MVP. It's almost like they really, really want that to happen. I'm sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but I got to tell you, it doesn't make me feel better. Nick?
Yeah, so I think Siakam's the easy choice there real quick for the finals MVP if Indiana wins. Again, if Halliburton goes out and drops 35 and hits a game winner, you know, I think it could be that. But if we go out and just do kind of what we've been doing, I mean, Siakam's leading them in rebounds, points. He's essentially second in blocks, second in steals, second in assists for his team. He's been very efficient, right? I understand you might have not seen that, but free throw percentage, shooting percentage has been really nice. You know, I think he's an okay defender at least, right? So he's at least not a liability. So I think right now Siakam's the easy choice for that. If it goes like it's been going. Again, Halliburton puts up some crazy emotional game winner, you know, and drops historic numbers or something, then yeah, I could see him getting it. But real quick on SGA, man, like I've kind of I have, this might be a little bit of a hot take here, but I have soured on SGA a little bit. I still think he's an amazing player. I think he's doing amazing things. But his game just kind of like there's not one thing that he is just so amazing at, like in terms of a skill or like a shot or something that, you know, I can see why they struggle sometimes, right? If he cannot get to the free throw line or get layups or open shots, you know, they struggle as an offense. And I think he is a great point guard in terms of being a straw that stirs the drink, to use that old metaphor. I think he's amazing at that. I think he can run an offense just as good as anyone. He creates very well. But his offense, you know, his points, sometimes I just keep thinking like he's going to get in some tight spots here where I think they're going to struggle a little bit. And I think we've seen that these playoffs, right? He doesn't really have like a go-to move. And then it kind of becomes like, well, we need a bucket. Like and the defense is getting tighter here. Where do we go? Who do we get a bucket from? And I think sometimes they're struggling with that. So that might be a hot take for some.
Speam really quick, because we got to make room for Jim, who's going to come in a moment. What do you think?
I got Siakam.
Wow.
I think I'm gonna piggyback off Vaughn real quick. He's a vocal leader. He's in the cameras being vocal. He's yelling. He's in everyone's faces. He has the history with the Raptors. His career is weird. I mean, he went from being like the what was that Tom Hanks movie? The the Captain Phillips guy. He went from being him to
God damn it.
Oh,
that was
no.
great, Steve.
Oh,
Credit to Zay. Credit to Zay.
Oh,
Oh my God.
someone said that already. Damn. Okay. But he's always been like this fringe star. He's always been like right outside of it. It'd be good to see him get some recognition. I feel like he's paid his dues in this league at least.
Where's Zay? You're gonna have to call in just to do your "I'm the captain now" impression.
He said he went from being the Captain Phillips guy.
Let's read from Eyal Sabag. You guys are the best. AOH, SNFR, Hoops God, Zay, and my man Self Research. Let's roll. And
hey, thank you, sir.
And it's not that serious. Salute to the panel. I appreciate that you all don't engage the trolls in the chat. Don't give these ignorant fools a voice. Yep, we're going to stick to that today, gentlemen. Maybe at the end we'll go into the weeds, but you start losing me at that point.
Too busy doing our thing.
I hardly read the chat, man.
I told you, they do it for us. Yo, much respect to all you guys, man. I see you guys setting the record straight, man, educating these clowns.
Well,
Bonnie, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me. Thank
Bon,
you.
that's a great jersey, bro. That's a fantastic jersey.
Yo,
It's a giddy jersey. You get. they shouldn't have cut him. Like I don't know. It doesn't make all that much sense to me. We may see him make an all-star team yet with the Bulls. It could happen.
Oh, that night, by the way, when the Pacers lost and they should have won, there was a guy wearing a Westbrook Thunder jersey in the bar. And I was getting ready to go ask him if he actually lived through that time period. But then the Thunder won, and I didn't want to talk to anyone.
Can I, AOH, real quick? I just want to pose a question. If OKC does win, do you think this hurts Russell Westbrook or KD in terms of their impact with OKC?
absolutely.
Really? Okay.
I don't know.
I think the media will talk about it, and that'll make some people think that
I don't think it hurt Westbrook. If anyone, it might hurt Kevin Durant, but how could it hurt
It should
Westbrook?
hurt KD. Okay. No, that's what I. Okay, I agree.
I mean, that's what I would think. But yeah, that's just my thing.
All right, Bonnie, thank you so much.
Yo, Vaughn, be good, man. Thanks
Thanks.
for coming through.
Appreciate it, bro.
And and right on time. It's going to be interesting to see which direction we go this morning because Jim has a brand new video. Self-research.
Yeah, what's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
Self-research NBA
Jim.
fact. Welcome to the show, sir.
What's
Yes!
up, Jim?
With the 9:30 data drop on us.
I need some class on this thing.
Hey, I got whichever segment you want to do today. It's up to you. I was just curious if you felt like
We could do the
changing
91 finals. That's fine. It's fresh, so that's probably better.
All right, so here's my take on what's happening. Scotty opened his mouth again. Horace Grant opened his mouth again. Are these guys getting ready to launch another no bowl tour? Because there's a lot of bowl coming out of their mouths, just like last time that they launched their tour. And Robin, I don't know how much of your rant was off the top of your head, but boy, you were dropping stats from 1991. Self-researched. You, of course, brought the stats. I personally have been watching the 91 finals again, and I'm breaking it down play by play, painstaking detail. I will have the first period done this morning and up in the member section. But hey, you guys drop stats, and I'm sure fanboys can say, well, if this and if that. Yeah, you're not going to have any argument against my visual proof. I'll tell you that much, because I don't know. As both of you said, this revisionist history is particularly stupid. And Jim, since you are a special correspondent here, I'll let you take it from there.
Oh yeah, I don't even know what the hell's going on, to be honest with you. I don't know where this stuff starts.
That's how I feel.
Are we just gonna start pulling out finals now and say, oh, this guy had a good game, so he deserved finals MVP? I mean, if you just go by game score, the only game that Pippen was ahead of Jordan was in game 3, it was game 5. I'm sorry. It was game 5 when the series was already over. It was 3-1. But I mean, come on, it's just a joke. Everybody knows who watched that series. It was all about game 3. and Pippen fouled out with 15 seconds to go in the game. And a very important detail that I don't hear people mention is the fact that Michael Jordan played halfway through the fourth quarter and overtime with 5 fouls. He did all that on the verge of fouling out himself. Not
Game
only
one
did
and
he
game
not
two
foul
also.
out, yeah, and Pippen watched the whole thing from the bench. So all this stuff about Jordan couldn't win without Pippen, well, he literally won with the Pippen on the bench. And Magic Johnson did nothing. And that whole narrative about, that's what I really hope you get into, is this, oh, Jordan needed Pippen to guard Magic to shut him down. It's like, that's not true. The Last Dance is what started all this, I think. They made it seem like, oh, Pippen came in the game and saved Jordan because he couldn't handle Magic. Like, he had no field goals in the first half of game 1. Magic. He had nothing. Jordan was doing just fine against him. But Pippen, guarding James Worthy, was giving up 14 points. That's why the switch, if you look, Cliff Levingston actually played 20 minutes in that game. He started guarding James Worthy because Pippen couldn't handle him. He was too big for him, whatever. So they put Pippen on Magic, and then Jordan would guard Byron Scott. They did that kind of rotation. But a lot of it, Pippen was guarding Magic when Jordan wasn't even in the game. So a lot has been made about this. It's just stupid.
I made an assumption that people know what we're talking about. Here's the stage. Horace Grant came out and said that Pippen should have won the 1991 NBA Finals.
Oh wow!
which I mean MVP. Pippen should have won the MVP in the 91 Finals, and this obviously set Robin off. It set self-researched off. It set me off, but I just went to the video footage and have been working on something. But maybe, arguably, one of the more interesting talking points about this is how much Michael Jordan is to blame, because he had creative control of The Last Dance, and it was The Last Dance where they had that guy, Aldridge, come on and say, Magic's the greatest point guard I've ever seen, and Scottie Pippen was picking him up full court. Nobody does that. Nobody did that. Guess what, guys? In the first period of the game I'm breaking down, Michael Jordan has already picked Magic up full court 7 times. I mean, they're not telling the truth.
Yeah.
Why, in Michael Jordan's own documentary, are they overhyping Scottie? I mean, the best answer I have is that Jordan was being nice and crediting teammates. And after all that, Scottie and Horace turn around and shit on Michael?
No, but AOH.
Yeah, go.
That's what Michael Jordan, if you really had watched the Bulls throughout, I mean, the 90s, let's call it the 90s. If you remember watching the Bulls through the 90s, if you remember listening to a lot of the sound bites coming from the Bulls in the 90s, oftentimes you got a lot of overhyping Scottie Pippen from Phil Jackson, the coaching staff, from a lot of the teammates. Hey, man, Scottie Pippen, man, he's really showing us some things out here in practice. A lot of the Bulls coaching staff, hey, man, Scottie Pippen this. Michael Jordan himself over the years always saying Scottie Pippen, Scottie Pippen, Scottie Pippen. So it was always Michael Jordan and the other Bulls people, like I said, the coaching staff. Phil Jackson at one point saying, oh, Scottie Pippen's the best player in the NBA right now. He's one of the best all-around players in the NBA. They always had to coddle Scottie Pippen's ego that way. I mean, look at him now. He needs that kind of ego, massaging everyone and tell him how great he is, even though he's blinded because look at all the things that he had. Scottie Pippen is a classic case of you're a complete piece of garbage and you're such an ungrateful piece of garbage and you have no humility. You think about how humble Scottie Pippen should be when the greatest player, or the person who's perceived as the greatest player of all time, says himself, every time you mention me, you should mention Scottie Pippen. The greatest player saying that about you, and that's not good enough.
It's almost like that coddling that you said Pippen needs. He started hearing it and took it too far. He's like, oh shit, I was that good. No, you needed to hear that it was that good. And I pointed out this whole idea Scottie Pippen is like underappreciated. They were saying that shit in his like 3rd season. How underappreciated can you be starting that early on in your season? It was a narrative even back then, apparently.
So
can I tell you real quick one other thing that's interesting about that though?
Yeah,
I'm seeing a lot of guys pick and choose which players they want to listen to when it comes to arguments like this. Because you get a lot of the, well, do you want to listen to us or do you want to listen to the former professionals, the Kendrick Perkins guys like that, blah blah, the morons, right? But you have these guys that they shift teams just based on whichever way the wind is blowing. So you kind of have to keep that same energy for every single person. Then if that's the case, because
So I wanted to chime in.
Yeah.
I wanted to chime in on that too because I think what a lot of people are missing is that when Phil Jackson had Scotty guarding Magic, it's because he wanted to open Jordan up more offensively. Because again, coaches can see what players can't. And what was happening in AOH, I'm sure you could point this out with your film breakdown. When Jordan would penetrate and collapse the defense, they would literally just like take 3 people and try to stop him, right? And they were leaving John Paxson's open. I don't think they were doing it purposely. It's just Michael Jordan was so dynamic. So Phil had to say, okay, Michael, we got to make some adjustments. I need you to start looking for John more. Like, just letting him know, like, hey, they're sending 3 guys at you. Because I think that's just how dynamic Michael Jordan, I'm not saying think, that's how dynamic he is. So when you see game 2, MJ starts to find Paxson's, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe he missed a mid-range jumper because he was catching.
He was 8 for 8.
It was 8. Yeah, he was literally catch and shoot. And when I tell kids today, y'all talk about all this efficiency and volume, I said, go look at John Paxson. Tell me how many times he dribbled the ball when he caught a pass from Michael Jordan. He was literally like an automatic rifle, and he was like nothing but the bottom of the net. So once the Lakers seen that, okay, wait, he's passing the ball, now it's causing like conundrum within the Lakers. So you got Michael Jordan pretty much being that scoring playmaker, but he's also being like that pseudo point guard because he's also finding Horace Grant when they collapse on him on the perimeter, right? So now Michael Jordan is becoming like more of an all-around player. So yeah, Scotty, you take Magic because he's going to give Michael Jordan so much more extra responsibility in game 2, and it set that tone. So once they seen Michael Jordan could actually pass the ball, now they're already behind the 8 ball because it's like, how are we going to stop Jordan? But yeah, now he's making all these incredible passes. They don't talk about that for some reason. I just wanted to add that into the conversation as well.
Can we shout
that's
out
good. In game 2
to break this KD news also? My bad, Nick. Go ahead. Someone mentioned that KD trade. I just wanted to give them credit. I couldn't tell who it was.
Okay.
Yes, KD.
I was just going to say game 2 was irrelevant anyway about Pippen's defense. Paxson and Jordan went 23 for 26. That's the best shooting backcourt in finals history. Jordan hit 13 in a row in that game. It was just irrelevant. It's just an irrelevant observation to make about that game. It was all Bulls all the time, the whole game. It was just stupid. It didn't matter. It all came down to game 3. You watch the series, you realize how important that shot that Jordan hit, forcing it overtime was. They missed, they're down 2-1. Who knows? The momentum's on the Lakers side then. It could have changed everything. It really came down to game 3, and Jordan made the plays. That's it.
Hey, Jim, that's still a record to this day, isn't it? Jordan going 13 consecutive field goals.
Yes, that and the Paxson and Jordan going 23 for 26. The next best one was 05. I got it right here. It was Ginobili and Tony Parker went 12 for 17 for 70.4%. So they were 18% better than the second best backcourt ever in finals history. In that series, Michael Jordan had a defensive record, which is the most steals in a 5-game finals. I think there's been like 16 5-game. He had the most steals with 14. He had 2 shooting records, the one with him and Paxson and the consecutive field goals. And then the passing record, the most assists per game in a player's first finals, 11.4. That's still all records to this day. So I'm just saying, that's the wrong finals to pick. I think that is one of the best finals ever by any player ever, including Michael Jordan. I thought it was his best. A lot of people like 93. 91 for me was even better because it was all around. He did everything amazing in that series. Hit clutch shots. I mean, all the records, all of it.
Game 2.
And the Bulls in 1991, I believe that they were the first team in NBA history to win an NBA Finals, not having a single person on that team having any finals experience. No one on that team had ever been to an NBA Finals. And I believe that they were the first team to ever do that. So like you said, if people talk about game one, because Horace Grant made some comments and he mentioned game one and why they lost game one. And people are trying to say that Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen taking Magic Johnson changed the series after game one. The reason why the Bulls, or one of the reasons why the Bulls lost game one, is their lack of experience. Look at the game. If you watch the game, look at the eyes. These guys look totally like a deer in the headlights. They look nervous out there. A lot of those guys, no one was hitting any shots. No one was doing anything out there.
Well, it was actually a storyline with the announcers, too. They kept talking about how nervous the Bulls were, and the Bulls were admitting it. Horace Grant, for example, admitted it. Can you imagine if you didn't have someone like Jordan leading? I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Jordan was the one that wasn't nervous and kind of bringing people back down to earth.
Also, didn't Jordan lead?
Jordan shot 14 for 24. Pippen shot 7 for 19 in game one. So it wasn't on Jordan.
Yeah, didn't Jordan lead in every major statistical category except for rebounds, if I'm not mistaken?
Well, in the game I'm breaking down, game 2, which is the one that you're praising how well he shot, he only attempted, in the first period, he only took one shot and he made it. So he was getting other teammates involved before he starts going on his scoring rampage later.
Yeah, he was just feeding Horace Grant, Cartwright, and Paxson. They were just going nuts, those guys. And then he just went on the best run anyone's ever had in the finals. I mean, 13 in a row. No one's ever done that.
That's why
Divac was destroying the Bulls in that series, man. Bill Cartwright, they had Vlade Divac looking like Will Chamberlain down there, man. And let's tell the whole story about Scottie Pippen in that game 3, Jim. Like you mentioned, I always talk about game 3, and to me, that might be the most clutch and most difficult shot that Michael Jordan's ever hit in his career. In his first NBA Finals, in game 3, in LA, series tied 1 game apiece, your sidekick is fouled out on the bench. There's 9.5 seconds left. And once again, they lose that game. They're down 2-1, and this is back in the 2-3-2 format. They had to play 3 straight games in LA, man. And the Lakers were real tough in LA, man. So what happened before that shot, before Michael Jordan? How did Scottie Pippen foul out? The Bulls were up by 1 point with under 20 seconds to go. And Vlade Divac got a pass from Magic Johnson, and Scottie Pippen got a blocking foul and one on Vlade Divac. He had an N1, knocked the free throw down, and that put the Bulls down by 2 with 9 seconds to go. That's how Scottie Pippen fouled out.
Yeah, you don't. I'm sorry, someone who does that to your team can't be in the MVP discussion, regardless of anything else. He almost lost you game 3.
Jordan almost ripped that pass, too. The pass to Divac. If you watch the replay, he almost ripped it from Divac. And Divac just kind of recovered, stumbled, and just threw it up. And it just went in. It wasn't a good shot. It was just luck, really. But, Pippen just ran underneath him, got the blocking foul. And, again, Jordan did the whole thing with 5 fouls. He could have fouled out at any moment in overtime. And he knew that. He had to have known that. So he played that whole I think it was the last 9 minutes of the game with 5 fouls. So that's pretty nice to do that. And back to game 1, another thing I find interesting is Perkins, Worthy, and Divac, like you were saying, they were slaughtering the Bulls. They scored 60 points. The Bulls front court, 31. They crushing them, kicking their ass, really is what I'd call it. And Pippen couldn't handle Worthy. Pippen just could not handle James Worthy. He just couldn't. He was killing him, cooking him. I was watching so many highlights. I was like, wow, Worthy just destroying Pippen. Looks like he was just bodying him. He was hook shots, jump shots, everything going. And then they put Pippen on Magic, and people thought because Jordan couldn't handle Magic? He was doing fine. He had no field goals in the first half. It's just not true at all. Shannon Sharp goes on about, he put a triple-double on Jordan. It's like, well, which is it? Is it on Jordan or Pippen? Who is he guarding? See, these guys are idiots, man. I'm so sick of them.
And it's not a big deal any damn way. It's freaking Magic Johnson, man. I love how they talk about these guys like it's a knock because Magic Johnson was cooking Michael Jordan in the finals. He's Magic Johnson. Is he not recognized as a top 5, top 10 player in NBA's history? I'm pretty sure he's universally recognized as the greatest goddamn point guard in NBA's history. So yes, if he's cooking Michael Jordan, that's supposed to happen.
Which he didn't. But a little love to love to Jesse Glad Saget. Thank you for the super chat. Michael Jordan turned his teammates into household names. LeBron turned teammates that used to be household names into pariahs. It's so spot on. I've certainly said this before. How many people would you not even know who were, unless they were on Jordan's team? There's one more level to this. LeBron has helped some people that you wouldn't have ever heard of be household names because of his fuck ups. Like, you would not know who JJ Barrera is. So say
That's
thank you to LeBron James, JJ.
You wouldn't know who Deshaun Stevenson is. And he didn't even do anything that crazy against LeBron.
One more.
We gotta say something about this Kevin Durant trade real quick, man.
Yeah,
because once again, Kevin Durant has fully exposed himself. This man is going to jack the Houston. He better not go here and mess this up, man. It's NBA Finals a bust for Kevin Durant.
What's he doing?
He's going to the Rockets.
Oh, he is?
That's what it appears. I don't think it's official yet, but that's what it appears to be.
Okay.
I know Jalen Green was part of the trade, which is nuts.
Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and the number 10 pick and 5 second-round picks.
That's
wow.
That's a steal for the Rockets. If I'm not, excuse me, for the Suns. If I'm not being clear, that's way too much.
Yeah, I mean, if Durant can come in and drop 26.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're lacking a
that's
shot
like
maker.
a whole future.
I just saw that popped up on my notification. I said, "Wow."
So who's the leader? Wow. Who's the leader on the Rockets?
Segun.
Yeah, not Kevin Durant. They're the leaders. Ime Udoka.
No, Udoka, the coach, yeah, for sure. And who's the point? Van Fleet's probably their default veteran point guard.
Hey,
Kevin Durant is in the Van Fleet.
Do y'all think they should have gave up Jalen Green their future?
No,
I don't know about that one.
Not.
That's crazy, man.
People hate Dylan Brooks, but he did have a bit of a big contract. But you know, for a locker room of young guys, Dylan Brooks is sometimes one of those great fits for a team like that.
Yeah, he's trying to be a Draymond Green.
Let me catch up on some more super chats before we get too far behind. Let me say thank you to Jolly Joshams. He said this on SNFR's video this morning. LeBron fans' minds are so warped that Jordan and Kobe are sidekicks and D-Wade, AD, and Kyrie aren't enough help. Yep. Yeah, we can go down a rabbit hole with this one, and we've all done videos debunking this. And LeBron fans aren't ever going to watch them because it's not what they want to believe. Ugh.
Wow.
Man 6 on Boy Kane with $4.99. No comment. Thank you.
Shout out.
And Justin Messenger's back yet again with another one. Durant to Rockets for Brooks and Green and 6 picks, including number 10 this year. Will it work?
And number 10 this year?
Gosh.
Number 10.
Yep. 5 first rounders and the number 10. 5 second rounders and the number 10 pick.
That's insane.
So they trade their future away for a win now championship. That's why I said Kevin Durant can barely play 60 games in an NBA season, and they just traded some of these guys for that.
It's not gonna work because that's just not gonna sit well with some of those guys who already built up chemistry. I hate to tell them.
The Suns got a nice little, definitely a more well-rounded squad.
Yeah,
now,
they just gave the Suns a fighting chance now. Like they improved the Suns roster.
2 starters instantly, I would say.
What's Durant, 37 now?
He's done, Jim.
Will be 37.
Yeah.
How old is Devin Booker?
That's nuts.
He doesn't have to be done.
Dylan Booker.
You just give him the LeBron James treatment. Start saying after every other sentence what he's doing at this age, because they started that shit with LeBron at age 36. So I don't know why you can't start it with Durant at 37 and just pretend that what he's doing is amazing.
Hey, wait.
Remember, Kevin Durant was also negative plus
28.
minus this year.
28.
Kevin Durant was too?
Yes, he was.
Oh, well, did they give him second team? Did they give him second team All NBA?
Nope.
Wow.
I don't even think he played the minimum amount of games. That's what I'm saying.
Games.
I think he only played 57 games or something or something like that this year.
I did not know KD was a negative plus. Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was negative 36 or something. Who got?
Hey, and I noticed that's a stat that they hate. They hate that stat because it actually shows your impact. If you're actually helping your team or you're hurting your team. Oh, it's a team stat. I'm like, yeah, he's hurting his team.
I know that team was overkill, but I really wish Durant would have stayed with the Warriors. I don't know. That's another thing that's Draymond Green's fault. but he screwed up his entire legacy. KD did.
Yo, Westbrook and Kevin Durant could have been like one of them duos.
Yes, absolutely. And not to mention Harden before he became who he ended up being.
Yo, it was like when Stephon Marbury left Kevin Garnett in Minnesota high and dry, just when you thought they were going to turn into some kind of dynamic young duo.
Yeah. Well, even with Draymond messing up the chemistry, the Warriors probably would have had a three-peat without all those injuries against the Raptors.
That's true. That is true. Because KD came in and balled that game before he got hurt.
Man 6 wants to hear our opinions on Caitlin Clark. Maybe later. I mean, I don't give a crap.
I do have a quick funny story. So I was out yesterday. My mom actually texted me. My mom, who, you know, she knows I like basketball, but would never text me anything like this. She goes, "Have you seen all the fights happening with Caitlin Clark?" My mom texted me that. I was like, "What is going on?" Like, it was completely out of nowhere. It's the most random text ever. So just to kind of, there is some kind of effect out there, I guess.
That's bringing the casual fans in to watch sports, man. Dude. Like my man just came in here, Vaughn Fry. My man came in here and said his grandma over here a Thunder fan now. You know what I'm saying? You bringing people in.
Yeah.
Hey, Jim, I know you got family and stuff to get to. Did you want to bounce? Or you?
Yeah, I'll just say one last thing. And about that 91 finals, you know, you don't have to listen to me. You don't have to listen to Robin. You don't have to listen to Nick Wright or Shannon Sharp. Just listen to NBC and who they gave the Miller Genuine Draft Player of the Games to. Jordan got 3 of them. They gave 1 to John Paxson and 1 to Vlade Divac. I didn't hear Scottie Pippen's name in any one of those. So, again, you know, that should tell you everything you need to know. I'm going to get into the 92 finals. I'm actually working on it right now. And depending on what happens with the Thunder, if they win or lose, I'll probably do a video on it, the historic ramifications of it. And then I'll start doing all the rest of them too. So I think 92 Jim, actually is, yep.
No, real Jim, quick. I was going to say,
you, Jim.
Hey, Jim, go verify, because I could be wrong, but verify for me who got more free throw attempts. Because there's also this narrative that Michael Jordan got all the calls. If I'm not mistaken, Magic got more free throw attempts than Jordan. I think Clyde I think Clyde and Charles Barkley all got more free throw attempts than Michael Jordan. If I'm not mistaken.
Jordan.
The Bulls are negative 67 in the finals.
Yeah, hey, Jim. You know the video that we talked about on a previous episode about the violations called against LeBron compared to Jordan. Just imagine if you included other categories. You know, you just stuck to traveling and offensive fouls. I'm thinking about how LeBron hasn't had a foul called on him, and I can't even remember. And I'm looking at the shit that they're calling on Jordan in the finals. I'm like, man.
Yeah. I think it was game 5. He got 3 traveling calls. Wait till you get to game 5. I'm pretty sure it was 3 traveling calls in game 5 against Jordan. Yeah, that's like a whole season for LeBron James.
So. That's every possession.
And I was thinking about when you brought up the Miller Genuine Draft Player of the Game thing, when I was listening to your video, I was thinking about playing devil's advocate, because like I said earlier, LeBron fans will be like, oh, well, they just gave it to him because they wanted Jordan to have it. Well, what you're not going to be able to argue against is the game breakdown. You say whatever you want to,
right?
But if you have the balls to go and watch the game breakdown, you're not going to have a leg to stand on. And David Aldridge's weird little speech isn't going to save you either, which I got to come back to. So are we going to say that that's because of Michael Jordan? Like, did Michael Jordan say, hey, let's give Scottie some undue credit here? Like, how did that get into the Last Dance?
No, I think Scottie got offended when Jordan brought up him sitting down and pouting on the bench in 94, which he did. I mean, I don't understand why you're getting upset about it. Like, You wanted to be this is a prime example of heavy is the head that wears the crown. You got tired of being in Michael Jordan's shadow. You wanted to be the number one guy. You're in the spotlight. So now that the pressures and the moment is here, okay, you got to live up. No, going sitting down and pouting on the bench, like, nah. That's not gonna get it because you felt like you deserved that shot. No, Scotty. Tony Kukoc had been hitting game-winning shots all season long.
Yeah.
So why would they go away from Tony Kukoc to give you the ball when you're not a clutch shooter? Like you've never been a clutch shooter.
It's like
Right.
don't include any criticism of me, only praise, or I'll get upset. Even though Jordan showed plenty of his own shortcomings in that documentary, he could have been much more biased. But I want to stick to the specific question. How did this little story that David Aldridge starred in, and viewers, I'd love to get you guys in the chat telling us your take on it. How did that become a part of the script in The Last Dance when it wasn't even true? How did it happen?
I told you, man.
They missed it. They missed it. I don't know. Other than that,
you think it's a mistake?
Scottie Pippen his flowers, man. They giving the man some shine. Michael, you think that didn't cross the table in the edit booth? Michael Jordan saw across the. He was like, man, let Scottie Pippen have his moment, man. Because let's be very clear here and educate the people. Scottie Pippen did have an impact on the defensive end. He was great in the series, Scottie Pippen. No one's saying that Scottie Pippen was trash and Michael Jordan had to carry him across the finish line. What we're saying is that he was not the main guy guarding Magic Johnson. Yes, Scottie Pippen had an impact, but what was the main function? Like Hoop God said earlier, is to give Michael Jordan a relief on the other side of the ball. Michael Jordan can't be averaging 30 plus, be the only guy scoring for your team, and play Magic Johnson all game long, every game. That's not strategic. That's not going to help you win. Phil Jackson would be stupid if he left Michael Jordan out there to get in foul trouble and to get tired like that. That doesn't make any sense.
If I hear you, what you're saying is Michael Jordan was very aware of Scotty's insecurity and said, we'd better give Scotty more flowers or things will get really bad. And they got bad anyway. But does anyone on the panel have a different hypothesis about this?
The only thing I could think of is like either, yes, Jordan just said whatever, it's not worth fighting. Or, you have to wonder how much like hands-on Jordan was in the editing booth, and maybe someone put that edit in there just thinking like, oh, let's display how good Scotty was, right? And Jordan just never saw it. I don't know. There could be a few reasons why. Again, you have to wonder, like, is Jordan really going through and combing through every second of the documentary? I would say probably not, but you never know. It could be that he just doesn't care.
Nick, that makes sense. I mean, I can't picture him wanting to sit through that editing process, but if you listen to the people who had Scotty's back, they will act like Jordan was there for every bit of it, and therefore he's to blame for anything mean said about anybody.
But AOH, that's no different than how media is now. People just say shit, and then there's nothing to back it up. None of us were in that room. None of us were producing this, The Last Dance. So people just say stuff with no evidence, no background, nothing. And that's why we are where we are now.
Nah, AOH, this is my just looking at from the outside looking in. They're just projecting. They're projecting their insecurities, their hurt feelings, and like all that. They just want to blame Jordan. So, that's low hanging fruit. Just blame Jordan, rather than them just being men and standing on principle. Well, let's just go for the low hanging fruit. No, we're going to blame Jordan. They're acting like some petulant children. It's just embarrassing if you ask me.
Okay. Let's get this.
AOH, are you going to get into that about Magic, Pippen guarding Magic? Are you going to get into it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay, good. You remember the video I did about you remember the Gary Payton and Jordan, that other narrative too?
Yeah.
That was eye-opening as could be on that one. How did that narrative get started? Because it's not even close to true. Gary Payton did not shut down Michael Jordan in the 96 finals. He shot over 50% on him.
Yeah.
He just did.
And maybe that's why you have those moments that aren't Jordan's best moments on camera where he says, I had no problem with the glove. But if somebody was there and they know the truth and you're hearing, Peyton was owning Jordan, and then you put that guy on camera, I might say something like that too. It's like, come on, I had no problem with this guy.
Right. Yeah, in that particular, like Game 6, when Jordan's bad game, Peyton started out on him, but Hersey Hawkins guarded Jordan the entire second half when he was missing all those shots. Gary Payton had nothing to do with that. It's just, and then of course the Nick Wrights of the world are going to run with it every time. You know that. But all right, guys, I'm going to head.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
to have you
Jim.
here, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Good seeing you guys. Enjoy your Sunday.
Have a
too,
good
man.
Sunday.
Have a good one, Jim.
You too, man. See ya.
Alternative theory, real quick. Don't forget, Scotty's personal life was getting drugged through the mud very publicly during a lot of this. It still is. So I'm wondering if there was some panic just internally with him, you know?
I don't know. I mean, Scotty hung himself during the interviews so many times. Like he just destroyed himself on accident. It's like,
yeah, he comes off real sour. Like his ego is just too much.
let me catch up with some super chats.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Shout out to Classic Basketball DVDs, Masculine, MJ, Jermaine, Grantham. Shout out to all you guys, man. Callie Young, Hoop Oracle. Thank you guys for coming through.
Real quick before you do the super chat, I just want to talk about that Durant trade. I was kind of looking up while y'all were talking.
Sure.
They got, so only because I live in Houston, so I pay attention to some of the stuff. If you guys remember, they like way overpaid for Dylan Brooks, like gave him twice what his contract was at Memphis. And the rumor was always that the salary cap was going up. We're going to get this guy. He's an asset. We can trade him later, right? Maybe after what they saw with Jalen Green, they weren't impressed. So in my opinion, right, I think the Rockets are doing this move to get 50 mil plus off the books after this year. And maybe they have something in mind for next year, right? If I love the trade stuff. I love the trade and the salary cap stuff and making it work. And that's my thought. They probably have something in mind for next year. Take a shot with Durant this year, and then maybe they have something in mind coming up.
Nick, did you get that information yourself, or did you use AI?
No, I looked it up on Basketball Reference literally while y'all were
Plagiarism.
Plagiarism. Doing that shit.
Plagiarism.
Yeah, sorry.
You can't be getting information while you're working. That's insane.
My bad.
Sorry.
Eyal Sabag is back with another super chat. Thank you for your generosity. We all saw Scotty crumble in Game 7 with Portland in 2000. He really should remember that. Jeez, you know the way.
Yep.
My God, I mean, Kobe cooked the piss out of him on that play before he lobbed it to Shaq. That was embarrassing.
It's one of the most slept-on crossovers of all time.
He also crumbled in '99 with the Rockets because they got swept by the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken.
Kobe crossed Pippen out of the highlight on that play. It was one of the greatest. I saw that live, not live, like as it happened, and it was just like, yeah, Portland's done. They're out of there.
Praise the Dawn with the super chat. Thank you, Praise the Dawn. Thanks everybody who has super chatted or will super chat. Much appreciated. 90s players coming out to be on all fours for LeBron are clearly on the payroll, and they sold their soul for that Mason. Sick of these dunces lying. You know, I think we're all feeling this. It's particularly disappointing when you see these older guys acting like these scumbags of the present. Like you just see people saying whatever they're told to say now, and it's not unusual. It's almost expected, sadly enough. But then you get the guys from the past doing it too. What they need the pay. I don't know. How much money do you need? I mean, all of these guys have more money than we even fantasize about.
Hey, which it's even extra disappointing when you see somebody like a Kenny Smith, who I used to love listening to when it's at the NBA, just completely switch.
He's so far. Kenny Smith is so far gone now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He wasn't always that way, though.
Yeah. We all.
I saw Mon Shumpert come out and say that he would take Jordan still over LeBron. That one felt good. That's like LeBron's boy, isn't it?
Yeah, he probably wasn't saying that while he's playing in Cleveland, though.
True, and he'd be smart not to do so.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. That's true. Yeah.
You got to make business moves sometimes.
Yeah.
I found an old clip when Iman was still on the Knicks of Stephen A. Smith talking about how good he was. It's like, damn, this new guy that the Knicks have is for real. And after he went and joined LeBron, you're nobody.
Yep.
Just a pariah, as one of our viewers said earlier. Just a messenger. Thank you so much for your ongoing generosity. Random stat, since 2019-20, 6 seasons, Durant, Russ, and Harden have played on a total of 13 different teams. Wow.
Damn.
Jesus.
Yeah.
13 different teams. That's almost half the league.
That's wild.
They all have MVPs, right?
Yo, that's crazy.
And the only guy I feel bad
yeah, they
for is
do.
Russell Westbrook, man. I don't feel
Westbrook,
bad
yeah.
for James Harden. I don't feel bad for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant out there requesting trades, chasing coaches out of teams, getting all these plays that he wants to be playing at. Russell Westbrook has been scrambling for his career, essentially, ever since he left Oklahoma City Thunder. And why has he been scrambling for his career? Because Kevin Durant left him high and dry. And remember, when Kevin Durant left, everyone made it seem that it was because Russell Westbrook why he couldn't win. So Russell Westbrook has, like I said, been trying to clear his name ever since then. The funny thing is, Kevin Durant hasn't won an MVP since he played with Russell Westbrook.
Robin,
say
can I
what?
piggyback off that real quick and just give you credit because that's a great take. But also Westbrook to this day, he's still paying for being touted as the problem in LA. Like that cost him money at the end of the day, right? Now he's playing for vet Mins, and he wasn't the problem in LA either. So that's a great point.
Hey, Spin, we got to turn your volume up a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay.
I was gonna say Westbrook's really grown on me through the years as he's kind of just kept his head down and kept playing.
Harden, and by the way, Harden left before Durant did, and so then by then Westbrook was all alone. I look at that 2012 finals, and Westbrook was so physically gifted, so explosive, but he did, he could get to the rim, and he did blow shots too many times. He looked young and nervous, but anyways. JB was here, says LeBron James is the ultimate catfish. Yep. Isn't he? Thank you for that.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Catfish James.
Catfish James.
We all saw. Oh yeah. Okay. I read that one. Lomo, by the way, Lomo, I think I saw some great comments from you in my videos. I'm going to have to do a video where I just read viewer comments because some of you guys are fucking hilarious. And one standing out to me is the people saying, just wait until LeBron gets to the C-all D-alls. Lomo says, MJ knows who Pippen is better than Pippen knows himself, sadly. He just let him have it. MJ knows who he is, what he did, no regrets. Yeah, you got to be a big man to be able to just be like, just give it to him. He needs it.
For real.
He's being a leader. And I'll bet you we'll see Scottie Pippen on Mind the Game before next season. I promise.
Oh, man, I like that, Steve.
Say it again.
We will. Scottie Pippen's going to end up on Mind the Game before next season. I guarantee you. Watch.
But you need somebody who can speak well to carry LeBron. The other person on the other side's got to be able to speak better than Pippen.
That's a good point.
Luka's English should be a lot better by then, I think.
No, but you're
We
right.
can have these people that are learning English come in and do a better job than LeBron.
Michael Jordan's going to NBC, so Scottie Pippen's going to go to Mind the Game.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm telling you.
Dominique Davis with the big super chat, $20. Thank you. I like the trade for Houston because they didn't have to gut their team to acquire him. Hopefully Katie's attitude gets reined in a little now having his first alpha coach in Ime. Yeah, maybe the coach can be the difference. By the way, was anyone else a little bit turned off by the fact that Kevin Durant had a wish list in that they were acknowledging his wish list?
Yes, definitely.
Who the hell is Kevin Durant?
No, hey, wait, did y'all see what Mad Dog said? Like, what have you won to dictate where you want to go? Like, Giannis has more, he should have more leeway into where he wants to go. Why? He delivered a championship to Milwaukee. But Giannis is not even out here acting like, some entitled, spoiled brat. Like, he's literally telling, this is where I want to go. You didn't even lead this team to the playoffs. Like, if that was me, I'd have sent him to Utah. I'm like, nah, go to the Utah Jazz. We're not sending you to the Houston Rockets. Fuck out of here.
I wonder, does Durant have a no trade clause or something? Like, I'm not saying it's obviously still stupid that he does that kind of stuff. Like, this is my Christmas list or whatever, but you just keep it behind closed doors, right? If you have a no trade, I don't know the details, but it could be that he's just like, yeah, I just want to go here, but we don't have to like put it out, like you're
absolutely. That's what Michael Jordan's old agent said. That's how guys facilitated their trades back in the day, it stayed in house because once you publicly broadcast it, now you're giving that leverage to the franchise that you want to go to versus just staying quiet about it, letting your agent do all the legwork behind closed doors. But these guys they have like such female mindsets that they want to put everything out there front and center rather than just being quiet and just let your agent do all of that. But like, no, they got to tell everything. They got to broadcast everything. They got to wear their feelings on their sleeves. It's ridiculous.
But listen, it's also on the team for even like acquiescing to that. Like, you could give me this list. All right, cool. But we're going to send you to wherever. We're going to send you to Washington if we want. You know what I mean? Like, they need to stand on that. Like, it's cool you gave us this list, but like everybody said, what have you done? I mean, even James Harden had a wish list in Houston, but he had a little bit more cachet to do it because he was leading the league in like every offensive category. Kevin Durant doesn't even play. So, and there's only no trade clauses, Nick, LeBron and Bradley Beal.
But now, this is going to put all the pressure on Kevin Durant. This is what I was saying earlier. All the pressure on you now, man. You got all the pressure. You got a young squad there. They made the playoffs. The Houston Rockets are ascending. You got a quality head coach there. So now you're bringing in a veteran guy like Kevin Durant, who's at the end of his career. They talk about what he could do offensively. You just heard Stephen A. Smith pumping him up the other day, talking about he got the 7'6" wingspan. He can pull up from the parking lot. It's Kevin Durant. He can score 27 in his sleep. This is Stephen A. Smith self-saying this about a man who ain't done a damn thing in the NBA since he left the Golden State Warriors. He's still saying the same things about Kevin Durant he was saying in 2012. That's insane, man. This ain't the same Kevin Durant. But all the pressure's on him now. What are you going to do? Are you going to play 60 games? Are you going to play 70 games? Are you going to go out there and lead this team and be that guy?
AOH, clip that soundbite, send it to Stephen A. Yo, that was classic, dog.
Brutal honesty from everyone. How much did you guys know about Bradley Beal before he was being sent to the Suns and they started saying, oh my God, this big three? Because I didn't know a damn thing about him.
Well, I knew he was John Wall's teammate, and he played with Westbrook. That's about as far as I can go.
Him and Bradley Beal were pretty decent in Washington.
Yeah, Bradley Beal. Spain, you got to turn your volume up.
A good scorer, really. Just kind of like a solid 20 point per game scorer is kind of.
He's not going to play. Bradley Beal is not going to play.
Is his injury that bad?
He never plays. What I'm saying is the most he'll play is maybe 40 games. Do you guys know who Bradley Beal is? The man don't play no damn games no more. He can't stay on the court.
I feel like I haven't seen him in 2 years.
And the most I know about Bradley Beal was him bragging about his no trade clause, like giving everyone the finger.
They should have fined his ass over that. That was disgusting. That was just like looking at human trash. Speaking of trash, you have this guaranteed contract. You play 8 games a season, and you're gonna throw this in fans' faces, laughing as you walk off the court losing.
Yeah. Kasonia Jackson, thank you, Kasonia, for the super chat. How y'all feel about the media disrespecting Kobe and now comparing Kobe to Pippen? Boy, good thing Scap isn't here.
I mean, those are all the LeBron fanboys and jockstrap sniffers doing that. Like, nobody who I would say has been paid off is going to disrespect Kobe like that. But I do like the fact that the guy from PK Saban, he constantly tells Stephen A. and all the rest of them that he has Michael Jordan and Kobe over LeBron. And I love it because we need to hear somebody keeping it real like that. So, yeah, I know the guys who are disrespecting Pippen, Kobe, it's because they've been paid off by Unclutched Sports. So I take their comments with a grain of salt.
Is the NBA the only league that has commentators outside of the sport that come in and act like subject matter experts?
I don't know.
Because we sit there and we hear all these football players talk about who they think is the GOAT. And it's just like, it's almost always for LeBron is what I'm saying. All the personalities that are very pro LeBron are usually either not significant within the league or played a completely different sport. And to me, that's like obvious to pick out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, things did change after Kobe died. That might be the weirdest thing about it. It's like, oh, Kobe's out of the way. Now LeBron felt braver. The media felt braver. It's sad if your behavior would be different if that person was still around. I mean, that tells you something.
I'm always curious to think that if Kobe was still alive, would the Jordan and like we are done with the 90s conversation and debate with LeBron, would that even be as prevalent, or would have Kobe been like another barrier considered to have been that, like that LeBron never truly got over, right? Or that there's still a debate, like you can't even really say he's better than Kobe.
I mean, Kobe,
I wonder how much of this stuff, Kobe was almost like a dam in a way, like keeping the, like you got to come through me first in a way. I feel like because he fell,
Kobe was a barrier. Kobe was a bridge between the two eras where Kobe would have still respected. He's like, you're not going to talk about the past. You're not going to talk about the people that paved the way for us.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Because Kobe, he always acknowledges the guys who played before him. Like he'll tell you he learned from Jerry West on the pull-up jumper. And of course, we know all the advice he got from Jordan, but another guy that he constantly talked about was Hakeem Olajuwon, who he went and trained with to improve his footwork. And the great Hakeem Olajuwon said verbatim, Kobe Bryant was his best student. Because we know he trained a lot of other ones, but Kobe was his best student. He picked, like, Kobe was essentially the student of the game, and he was like that last breed of the old guard, essentially. That's why Coach K had to go get him, the whole coaching staff, because it was Jerry Colangelo, Nate McMillan, and I'm missing somebody. D'Antoni. That was the fourth one. They had to go get Kobe. It's like you got this team full of stars, but yet y'all still can't get over the hump. And I don't know if y'all saw that article, but did you see where Wojnarowski said they didn't want LeBron there? I'm like, oh wow, that is damning. Like, imagine Team USA winning the gold without LeBron. Oh, we wouldn't even hear any more of this talk. So no, they know Kobe is the bridge to MJ. They just don't want to admit it.
No, gold doesn't matter, Hoops Guy. You know that. Come on, first place.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he got the bronze. Hey, Speen, remember, you don't win bronze. You receive bronze.
That's
you
right.
win gold.
Oh man, that's such a good point.
That's true.
So to your point, AOH, real quick about the bridges between the eras. There are no more active players that can like pass these stories down about like how things used to be. I think if anything, maybe Vince Carter was the last one, unless I'm forgetting somebody. Everything now.
Pearson KG. Pearson KG.
No, Vince Carter just retired. What, like 2 seasons ago, right?
Yeah, I was saying, but they played in that era too, where they could pass it down. But I get where you're coming from.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
But I see Vince be a guest panelist, and he sits there kind of quietly while, I mean, I've seen them make Vince praise LeBron's basic boring dunks. I'm like, God, of all the people to have to do that, Vince Carter. Mick Zuggins has a good super chat here. Thank you, Mick Zuggins. Jordan guarded 75% of possessions, all 91 series. More he had no left nonsense. People Google MJ criticisms and don't look at it before kneeling or get paid to kneel silently. Happy Sunday. Great comment. You know, I was thinking about the no left thing because it was in that 91 series that, in fact, I think it was game 2, that Jordan had that iconic move, one of the more difficult finishes ever, where he changed his hands, and he finished with his left on one of the most difficult shots we've seen, and yet we have this idea that he had no left. I mean, that alone should have probably been enough to, I don't know. It's just one of the most obvious examples that I don't think people brought up when talking about that had no left bullshit.
I'm wondering, AOH, what phony farcical narrative are we going to get next? First, it was, well, Michael Jordan didn't play any competition. Well, they got debunked. Then it was, Scottie Pippen led in everything. That got debunked. Now it's, Michael Jordan, he had inflated stats for one game. That didn't work. He can't go left. I'm just like, I'm really trying to understand. If you consider this guy who's lost 6 finals and, likes to party with Diddy is the greatest player of all time, why do you invest so much time and going back and researching Michael Jordan's career, if you have this guy over here who constantly loses to everybody, that's the greatest player of all time. Like, to me, the method isn't method. It's just not adding up.
But Hoops Guy, can LeBron go left? Can LeBron go right? He can only go straight with an elbow. That and a shoulder. He can't. These comparisons are silly.
Right, that's the problem. Who got? You just said that they're doing the research. They're not doing the research. They're talking and they're so invested in a guy, Michael Jordan, in an era of the 90s that they have no knowledge about because they refuse to be educated. They refuse to listen to the people that know more than them. And like my man was saying, McZuggins, they just read something and they go with it. They're not doing their proper research. They're not doing their due diligence.
When it's that easy to mislead people because they want to be misled, then all you have to do is say something dumb every day. And I mean, because they aren't going to care if it's true or not. I mean, did any LeBron fan do anything on their end to find out whether or not Horace Grant had a point about Scottie Pippen deserving the MVP? Do you think anyone did anything on their end? Now, what did we do? Alone. We set to work on the homework. Yeah, I don't know. It's honestly, it's just here's a question I meant to ask the viewers and the panel, since the stupidity is spewed out constantly and LeBron always wants the attention. Today is game 7 of the NBA Finals. Will LeBron wait until the game's over before he tweets something else about himself, or will it come during the game? How shortly after the game?
He gotta wait. He gotta wait to see who's gonna win before he inserts
a picture of himself with somebody.
Yeah. Can we get that on DraftKings? Can we make that a real bet?
We should. We should.
Tyrese Halliburton will hit some last-second shot. It'll bounce 4 times off the backboard in the rim, and LeBron James will send out a tweet. Man, I called it. I was sitting at home with my family, and I said, watch, Halliburton's going to hit a shot. It's going to bounce 4 times. He's going to hashtag LeBron James the sidekick. Watch, he's going to put it out there.
Hashtag Young King. Hashtag strive for greatness.
That's really funny.
I knew Kobe was going to score 80. I knew it. I was sitting at home. I told everybody, Kobe's going for 80. Malcolm X, he's one of the greatest people of all time. His name is Malcolm.
Very smart man.
Lomo, thank you for being here, Lomo. If Jordan had Kobe, that would be 10 to 12 rings, just like if he ended up with Hakeem. By the way, can't take someone else's credit. See all, D all wasn't me.
See all, D all wasn't me.
They're like,
so funny.
The A all, B all. Wait until he gets to the C all, D alls.
Like AOH, how do you not see them like snickering to themselves and laughing, like trying to hold back laughter when they're talking to LeBron? You know what I mean? It's like such a struggle. It like I don't know. I'd be laughing the entire time. There's no way I couldn't keep it.
Renee 43. One of our most devoted viewers. Thank you for the super chat. Tom Brady was on a show a few days ago with LeBron. He said, "We are witnessing the greatest ever play." They flip-flop. So yeah, didn't Brady forget to even mention LeBron during his Mount Rushmore talk? Yeah. But then he threw Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark in at the end of it. I don't even know what Brady was talking about. But speaking of Brady, somebody in my comments of my other video brought up Jim Kelly. And it made me think about maybe Jim Kelly just needed to go to 8 Super Bowls and lose them, and we could talk about his sustained excellence, and we could praise Jim Kelly. Hey, he didn't win them, but look how many Super Bowls he went to, because that's kind of what LeBron fans do for LeBron. Sustained excellence of losing.
LeBron, Jim Kelly, doesn't matter. Dallas just beats them no matter what.
But how awkward was it when Tom
Stars
Brady
beat the Buffalo Sabres too in the NHL Cup in '99?
Nice. How awkward did it look when LeBron James is sitting right there looking at Tom Brady as Tom Brady's like, "Yeah, you're witnessing the greatest to ever do it right here." It looked like a classic. Hey, man, LeBron, I got the check, man. Don't worry. We'll have this little hoorah right here, and I'll tell everybody. Because like you just said, he didn't mention him. This man read off a list of names that I was confused. I was like, Caitlin Clark and who? Wait, how did you mention Caitlin Clark in the same names that you mentioned Barry Bonds? He mentioned Michael Johnson. I mean, this man mentioned everyone. but LeBron James.
Right.
Now all of a sudden you have a little powwow with LeBron James sitting in a recliner, and guess who was there also? His boy Maverick Carter was over there sitting next to him, and here goes Tom Brady. Yeah, you're witnessing the greatest to ever do it over here.
So that I've got to admit, I think it was Steam Engine, the race baiter here, talking about how LeBron's only sitting down with white people, but now the list is getting kind of long. If he just sat down with Brady, that list is getting pretty long. I have to admit.
He had to check Tom Brady.
Well, listen, Oppressor. What I'll say is he typically only he aligns himself with other people that are in the GOAT conversation to so people can associate him with that,
like
because
Nash?
he knows what's that.
Like Nash and Reddick.
Well, no, I'm talking more like Brady and stuff. Because every time Brady would win a chip, it'd be like, oh, young king, strive for greatness, blah blah blah, bullshit, right? But it's to your point. One of the arguments is, LeBron does this for his people. He does this. No, he doesn't. He does that stuff for himself and his group. But I mean, why is Steve Nash your co-host, right? Like, think about that. Other than the fact that you may sign him on your team next season,
He's very nurturing.
very nurturing.
Nash is a good man. God damn it.
Wait,
No,
wait.
He
He may not be there. The Lakers under new management now, so he may be gone for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's not get too excited. I know I can think of a white guy that LeBron probably won't sit down with, and that's Mad Dog Russo.
Oh, he definitely won't. Or Skip Bayless.
Yep.
Or Skip Bayless.
Oh, I don't know. Skip gets pretty fucking soft sometimes. Skip's
How
a
about Rick
flipper.
Bucher?
Oh yeah. I would love.
How about Carton?
I would love to see Rick Bucher come on Mind the Blame. I would love to see that.
I changed my mind about Carton because I've watched more of his videos, and I could see him kissing the ring when it
Really?
comes time. Yeah.
Oh, that's disappointing to hear.
Yeah. No, he says I love LeBron and I'm a LeBron guy, and the only thing he actually criticizes is LeBron's stupid quotes. We'll get to it. I'm going to break down some more Carton videos.
Listen, if you call LeBron James insufferable repeatedly on your show, that's pretty damn good right there.
It is, but then you got to hear that's why the rest of it was so confusing. Some of the other shit that I heard, but that's another topic. Let's get to another. We got some more super chats, which is awesome. Thanks, everybody. When did LeBron so-called pass Kobe? Yeah, I mean, we ask this all the time. During the 2009 finals, they were saying Kobe's top 5 to 10 all time. So LeBron rings on the Heat out him over or that fake ass ring in 2016. It makes no sense. Yeah.
I'm really starting to think LeBron purposely lost that series against Orlando. And the reason why I'm saying that, if you guys go back and watch how great he played in Game 5. Now, customarily, you carry that momentum into Game 6. But now when I go back and look, he went I think 2 of 8 or 3 of 8 from 3. So it's like, wait, why are you shot jacking threes instead of being aggressive like you were in Game 5? I'm starting to really come to the conclusion that he purposely threw that series to avoid facing Kobe because he knew Kobe was going to destroy him. And that was going to put to bed any narrative about him ever being better than Kobe Bryant. I'm starting to believe that now.
It's that's an interesting one. There's a lot of directions you could go with that. For example, the fact that his fan base would actually embrace that. Oh, see, LeBron didn't actually suck. He just intentionally lost, as if that's a good, as if that's something to praise. I've heard this about the 2011 finals. They're like, oh, they were going to give the MVP to D Wade if they won, so LeBron didn't want that. All these really terrible personal characteristics of LeBron being presented as a way to explain away how badly he played. Neither one of those are good. Do you understand that those are both really bad? So pick whichever one you want. But LeBron,
never forget when
LeBron is so bad in fourth periods throughout his career, though, that it pokes a hole in your hypothesis, Hoops God. Because if he wasn't always shitty in the fourth, I could believe that being shitty in the fourth was intentional sometimes. but he's always shitty in the fourth.
The only reason I don't believe he did that in 2011 is because they already had their preseason championship celebration saying not one, not two. And JJ Barea, I think he was talking to JJ Redick when he first got started doing his little podcasting thing. Dirk could not stand them, right? Like JJ Barea is telling you, he was like, oh, Dirk couldn't stand the Heat. And when we played them, like, oh no, he just said, we're not going to lose to them. That's the only reason why I don't believe 2011. But yeah, 2009, as absurd as it sounds, I'm processing it. It's just like, I don't really think he wanted to meet Kobe. And I'm going to tell you why. Remember, they had the puppet commercials. So they're already putting the pressure on you like, hey, we're expecting you to get to the finals. We want to see you and Kobe. And I'm just like, I don't think he was ready for that because Kobe just came off that Olympic gold medal. He was on a mission that year. And LeBron wasn't ready for that. Like,
Nick, I cut you off.
I was going to say, don't forget LeBron. He kind of touched on it. LeBron making fun of Dirk in 2011 for having the flu.
Yeah.
He's trying to start this dynasty. He got swept in his first finals appearance, and here he is, trying to win his first. Just like no humility, no appreciation or anything. Yeah. That was probably I hated the decision, but after him and Wade did that, I think that was probably just like, I will never like you. I just will never.
He was a follower doing that too. If you notice, Wade's the one who initiated all that fake coffin stuff. It wasn't until LeBron looked around and saw that people liked it.
He's like, "Oh, that's fun."
Yeah,
I'm sure they were doing it. I'm sure they were doing it before they ever got on camera. You know what I mean? That would be my guess. They're probably like, I'm sure behind closed doors, they're like, "Oh, they're making excuses now because we're gonna run these boys out of the gym or whatever."
Hoops God, your Kobe bit. You know how they leapfrogged Kobe, which doesn't make any sense. But imagine the increased amount of difficulty of leapfrogging Kobe if they met in the finals and Kobe beat him. Now, how do you leapfrog him?
You can't.
You're right.
You can't. And that's why. Because, hey, AOH, I'm going to be fair, right? Let's put LeBron on the Lakers, put Kobe on the Cavaliers. And Kobe loses to the Spurs, loses to the Magic, and loses to the Celtics. Right? LeBron beats all three of those teams, just like Kobe. We wouldn't hear anything else. All we would hear is, oh, well, LeBron beat the teams that beat Kobe. He's better than him, and he had no top 75 teammates. But see, when it doesn't work for LeBron, now we got to get context. We got to get excuses. It's got to be rationale. LeBron had a quote-unquote wrist injury. LeBron was dealing with mental problems. Like, what? Are y'all serious right now? Like, I don't want to, man, get out of here. I don't want to hear that.
The real Siberius with a $5 super chat. Thank you, sir. LeBron can't dribble with his left, and they have the balls to say Jordan couldn't go left. It's laughable. Speaking of laughable, the music video we started with from L Explicit. LeBron's really proud of that clip of him. Like, he had someone film him doing that dribbling routine and then said, yeah, let's go with that.
Right.
Sorry.
Exactly. Right.
Sorry.
Laughable. 22 years. I mean, it was like you were saying earlier about the way he speaks. This is 22 years you've been speaking in the NBA level, speaking in public, and this is what you got? Every other word is bro. You're cursing when you're having a simple podcast, having a simple conversation. I mean, my goodness.
And I hate to say, I did some research on the whole left-handed claim, and it's not that true. I know people might be shocked at that, but
hey, sports and fitness, don't forget about those filler words.
Things
right.
of that nature. The things of the natures.
That's right. The nature's out there. Steve, tell them.
Yeah. And what is it? Processing the process or whatever it is.
Controlling. Hey, wait, Speam. Controlling the controllables.
That's what it
don't
is.
Forget
Controlling
that one.
the controllables.
Yeah, don't forget about that one.
Yeah. Come on.
It's some funny shit, man. Ban. I don't know. I think he's starting to use fuck as a filler word too, along with the ums and everything else. I started a video. Maybe it's in the members section. I don't know if I finished it, but I took a Michael Jordan interview. Michael Jordan said more in 15 seconds than LeBron James did in 30 minutes because of all the filler words that LeBron James.
Hey, so did Kobe. Kobe and Michael Jordan were just as proficient speaking as they were basketball players. Can't say that about
good.
LeBron. LeBron, the way he speaks, it's indicative of his style of play. It's ugly. It's
fantastic.
It's herky
not,
jerky.
That's a great.
Yeah,
point.
it's like it's not
Stumbling and bumbling.
aesthetically pleasing.
Sloppy.
Yeah, like all it's stumbling and bumbling and come on, man. Like
He has a
what?
tenuous grasp on the English language and the game of basketball.
Contradicting yourself left and right. I told you the man don't know what life he's living right now.
Hey, can I quote Doc Holliday from Tombstone? His hypocrisy knows no bounds.
No bounds.
Dan says it's just insert the sport here. At the end of the day, it's just insert the sport here.
It's just a Diddy party.
Said no goat ever. Had to finish that. Good one. Good super chat. Thank you, Bandana Dan.
For real. Bandana Dan, shout out.
Hey, real quick, the one sentiment, AOH, I watched your video with Carton and that goblin gnome looking dude. What's his name?
Goblin. Okay,
cool. I'm so tired of this. How can I have no bag if I'm leading the league and whatever? It's just like LeBron fans never look at context. They just look at data, they look at numbers, and then they make a statement.
Yep.
Somebody could just easily say, well, he has all these points because he's allowed to do whatever he wants to get to the paint. He gets the benefit of every call. He gets the benefit of every whistle. That's not a bag. That's just having everything handed to you. And these are professionals that come out here and say, how can he have this many points and not have a bag? Very easily. Like, don't ask stupid shit like that. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm sorry.
Question for the panel. When you all got started playing basketball, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but did the coach not tell you that your sole purpose as a player, right, is to not waste time with dribbling, like unnecessary dribbling, get from point A to point B, as quickly as possible. Now, I'm saying that to say this. On Glory Road, do y'all remember when the head coach was telling that one guy, because he kept doing all the little fancy dribbles, right? But you're going east and west. You want to go like north and south. So when we say bag, we're not talking about how fancy your dribble is. How can you get to your spot with the least amount of energy exerted as possible, right? And he does not possess that. It's a reason why he can't beat Dwayne Wade when they play one-on-one. It's a reason why he can't beat Michael Beasley and Kyrie Irving. That's a reason why he doesn't like one-on-one basketball, because these guys can get to their spot in one or two dribbles and pull up or counter. He can't do that. He has to be at the top of the key, taking 5 steps behind the three-point line, trying to lower his head like a freaking fullback. And then if you don't get out of his way, he wants to flop. Like, nobody wants to see that. Like, no, you don't have a bag, okay? Just face it, you don't. You got 50 billion points, but you scored 0 points in the fourth quarter of the NBA Finals 3 times.
But then the announcers confuse people watching at home because they say, "Oh, LeBron James is just too powerful. You just can't stop." It was illegal. God damn it. That's what you're supposed to be telling the people at home. It was fucking illegal. But I want to go back to the bag thing, because they said so many dumb things and everybody came out of the woodworks to try and understand, to decipher what LeBron had said or what Steve Nash had said. I don't even still know at the end of the day if the takeaway was that you don't need a bag and that excuses LeBron James, or that it's silly to say he doesn't have a bag. They never came to a definitive stance.
AOH, they never answer the questions they ask themselves. Do you ever notice that? But who do you think? Oh, I don't know. It's always met with an "I don't know." It's brought up as a means of getting their little message out there, and then like you said, there's no resolution. There's no anything. Just
it's a lot of ambiguity and vagueness. I noticed that. You're right about this, Bean. It's never something clear and concise.
Let's rewind to the walking off the court early thing. And he's like, and then he's like, I've got to get to my process. And then he says, and then people comment about when I stay on the court after we win. And then they move on. I'm like, well, wait a minute. No, you don't move on. This is a very important point. You just proved that your whole argument was stupid, and you guys just laughed and nodded at each other as if you made a good point. Like, it's another example. They ended something that they pretended was a profound conversation without having actually come to any conclusion or having said anything at all. So to the viewers out there, what was LeBron's conclusion about the bag? That you don't need one in order to score a lot, or that it's stupid to say he doesn't have one? Go ahead and type your comments.
No, but see, this is the thing, man. Everything that we've just mentioned here leads back to the one main problem for LeBron James throughout his entire career. His lack of ability to make adjustments in game and throughout his career. So when you guys are always highlighting these series, the 2009 series against Orlando Magic, where was his adjustments in that series? Yeah, we could say that maybe LeBron James was too scared to play Kobe Bryant, and that's how it kind of looks like when he plays in that series when you watch those games. But all this does is highlight more narratives or expose more narratives. How can LeBron James in a guard 1 through 5 in that series and guard Dwight Howard? He didn't make no adjustments. The same thing in 2007 NBA Finals. If you look at the 2007 NBA Finals, LeBron James had more turnovers in that finals himself than his entire team combined. So if you look at Tony Parker, who ended up winning the Finals MVP in that series, averaging, I believe, like 25 points a game, or what did he average in that series? Tony Parker outscored LeBron James in that series. How does LeBron James allow Tony Parker, who's not known as a legendary scorer or one of these great scorers? Tony Parker's a good scorer, no doubt about it, but do you expect Tony Parker to outscore LeBron James in the NBA Finals? But he did that in the Finals. LeBron James averaged 22 points a game in that Finals and 5 turnovers. And the games were actually very close, some of those games. So the problem for LeBron James was his lack of adjustments, being guarded by guys like Jamal Ginobili, being guarded by guys like Bruce Bowen, not being able to make those adjustments. But also, where was LeBron James on the other end? How can LeBron James didn't shut down Tony Parker? I thought he could guard 1 through 5. These are different moments in time for LeBron James that he could have rose to the challenge. He could have raised his level of play, and everyone else around him. He didn't do that. People can't be mad about that if we highlight LeBron James faltering in these moments. What do they say now? Oh, LeBron James was only 22 years old. He was only 23 years old. But then you go back in NBA's history and you look at the all-time great players and what they did when they were 21, 22, 23 years old, and it doesn't hold up, man.
Well, it's just like how they use 40, Robin. He's 40, he's 40, he's 41, he's 42. It's all built-in excuse making.
He's been swept at every stage, so he's got the bases covered. Young, middle-aged, old, he got swept.
Hey, AOH, that's a longevity record. He's been swept in 3 different decades of basketball.
I never heard that until now. That's a great stat.
We got a few minutes left. We should probably wrap it up soon. Do we want to get into the weeds at all? With the ring, I had a question. How much is the media to blame for our the supposed infatuation with ring culture? And then someone in the super chat wanted us to talk about Caitlin Clark. I don't know.
I want to go real quick on the ring thing because this is a point I've always made, right? When it comes to rings, right? Like if we look at something like baseball, no one gets mad at like Lou Gehrig or Ted Williams for never winning a ring. He's still considered one of the greatest ever because in baseball, it is really hard to put the onus on one player to win their team a World Series, right? Even one dominant pitcher can't be held responsible, right? In things like football specifically with quarterbacks and basketball with a superstar, right? Rings just simply define your legacy. You have such an influence on the game, right? A singular superstar in basketball is one of 10 players on the court, in which it's the smallest athletic competition field we have. You have such an influence on the game. Your fingerprints are all over the place. You can demand the ball. You can demand to guard the best player. There's so many things as a superstar in basketball that you can do to elevate your team to a championship, right? That is why it matters in basketball. That is why it matters to quarterbacks as well, because they have such an onus to take their team to the promised land, right? So that's just my 2 cents, right? That with basketball as a superstar, it's just what it is. Charles Barkley gets the ball in his hands. He is ultimately the one that is on him to defeat Jordan to get them a ring. Jordan won, So in basketball, that the no ring, the ring culture is what it is because it matters in basketball more than other sports. That's where I start from with this whole conversation.
But real quick, Nick, it's also how the public perceives you, right? Barry Sanders, bless you. Barry Sanders was seen as the greatest running back of all time, even though he wasn't. It's Walter Payton, right? Without a ring. But he was loved because he wasn't out there talking. He played for a terrible Detroit team with no offensive line, and everyone loved him. And everyone called him the greatest running back of all time, even then with no rings to back it up. You know what I mean? Look at John Elway before he won his first ring. Everyone loved him because he carried himself with a sort of class. He wasn't publicly out there denouncing anything that went against what he was trying to say.
Listen, I'm a Cowboys fan, and I got Barry over Emmett.
I was say being a fan favorite in terms of this is like a little different than when we're talking about like legacies and rings. Like with Barry Sanders, no one's like you were kind of saying that like no one's gonna hold it against him that he never won a ring because he's a running back. He is a dimension on a side of the ball, right? And that's kind of all he can be responsible for.
On the flip side,
Nick, you're around the money with how you leading off and how you're describing the sports. Everyone knows baseball. Like I played these sports all through high school, guys, and I tell people all the time: if you played these sports, you understand. You could play a baseball game. You could be in right field. No one hit the ball to you all game. You don't play a ball the entire game. You never field a ball. That can be your experience in a right field in a game in baseball. Mm-hmm. No fielding. A pitcher can have a profound impact, but he still needs his team. He can be pitching a perfect game. But that one pitch, the guy hits a routine grounder and it goes through the second baseman's legs. All of a sudden now, someone's on base. You need the quarterback. You can be Dan Marino. You can be that great. And it's not going to be enough because there are too many moving parts in the NFL. Dan Marino's not tackling people. He's not catching balls. He's not running routes. He's not punting. He's not kicking field goals. He's not doing any of that stuff. I mean, when people say that Tom Brady's the greatest football player of all time, I laugh. Keep it to quarterbacks, y'all. Tom Brady couldn't even catch a pass in the Super Bowl. Couldn't even catch that damn thing. He was wide open. And when he had to do something athletic, what did Tom Brady look like? He looked like a goof out there, stumbling and bumbling, and he couldn't even catch the ball. You guys saw that play in the Super Bowl. All he got to do is catch that pass, man. But he couldn't do it. So once again, let's keep it to quarterbacks. It's not the same thing. When LeBron James brings up guys like Barry Bonds, when he brings up Dan Marino, when he brings up Peyton Manning, first of all, he thought Peyton Manning only had one Super Bowl ring when we all know or we should know that Peyton Manning has 2 Super Bowl rings. My goodness, you're going to bring these guys up, be accurate with what you're talking about. Barry Bonds hit 4 home runs in the World Series, I believe in 2003 when he was in it for the San Francisco Giants. He had 4 damn home runs in that World Series and they still lost in 7 games and they wouldn't even pitch the man the ball. So once again, there's only so much you can do in other sports. Like Nick said, a basketball player has a much profound impact on the court.
You mentioned Barry Sanders earlier, and on the flip side of that, you have Emmitt Smith, who did have an offensive line, and I think still currently holds the rushing record. How many people?
No one beat that record.
How many people?
Unless the game changes.
How many people? But yeah, exactly. And yet, how many people consider Emmitt Smith the greatest running back of all time?
AOH. I'm a Cowboys fan, and I have Barry, Walter Payton, Jim Brown. I'm missing one. What's the guy that played for the Rams?
But you have all of those above Emmett, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Isn't that kind of like LeBron? Isn't that kind of like LeBron having the scoring title and that not meaning that he's the best scorer?
That's what I was gonna say. Is this is why LeBron fans are so wrong? Is that when it comes to football, I'm a Cowboys fan too. I don't have Emmett as the greatest. You know, we are consistent all along the board with how we truly rank greatness in sports. And then when it comes to LeBron, it's just a statistical output argument. That is all they have is a longevity accumulation argument, and that's it. And then once you start picking apart and getting deeper, it really starts to fall apart.
And similar to
hold on. The difference with someone like Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, the Jim Browns, the Walter Paytons, these guys that you're bringing up right now, those guys played the game the right way. No one thinks that these guys cheated the game or somehow they cheated themselves and they got some record. Listen, Emmitt Smith earned that damn record, man. Emmitt Smith played the game the right way. Emmitt Smith's greatest strength was his durability, was his toughness, was his heart. That was Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith was probably, to me, the greatest all-around back I've ever seen. There no weaknesses on Emmitt Smith, and then you multiply that with a team like the Dallas Cowboys. I think Jim Brown's the greatest running back of all time. That's my opinion. But when you talk about all those guys, none of them should be mentioned with someone like LeBron James. Hell, Walter Payton has a Man of the Year award that they give out. Ain't no one gonna call LeBron James the damn Man of the Year. Walter Payton had class.
Petulant Child of the Year award.
Call what bitch of the year. Call it what it is.
I don't have anything negative to say about Emmitt Smith. You know, like
oh yeah, I love Emmitt. I love Emmitt. I don't use that all-time rushing record though, because to me it's accumulative. It's not per game. So I love Emmitt, but yeah, the other two I forgot to mention was Eric Dickerson and Marcus Allen. My bad, Spam. Go ahead.
No, as a Steelers guy, let's just change the subject. It's all this is very triggering for me.
Oh, I forgot. The damn Squealer fan up in here.
Jerome Bettis. He's one of my favorites.
What was that, like 93?
95?
I love Jerome Bettis.
The bus. Hey, that was a big dude, man.
Is it a fair correlation when I talk about the offensive line helping Emmitt Smith achieve what he achieved to say, look at LeBron's stacking the deck, and that
we talk about the greatest football player ever, man, Larry Allen. Fucking, that's who needs to get a lot.
Hey,
of that
so
credit.
wait. AOH. Emmitt had no partakings in constructing that offensive line. That was Jimmy. That was Jimmy Johnson that did that. So you got to give Jimmy Johnson that credit.
No, I'm just saying when you are surrounded by greatness, you end up looking better too. And you know, the fact that LeBron had so much talent that helped him achieve what he did achieve, and we turn around and shit on those people and pretend that that's not what happened. It's just very offensive.
Well, that's why he's still begging for his respect. Emmitt didn't have to do that because he got it like Sports and Fitness said, he got it the right way.
Real quick from Jimmy James, rings aren't the fail all, FAIL all. And Jolly Josham says, when Kareem had the point record, no one, not even LeBron, was saying he was chasing him for the GOAT spot.
Word.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. So I was gonna point out, since I know we're all big fans of FYF, that, and of course I don't watch his garbage, but I did see he had a live feed saying that LeBron talks ring culture, Jordan fans panic. And I thought the title was interesting because doesn't he claim that he is a Jordan guy?
Well,
Didn't he just separate himself then? He's like, oh, you guys are over there with the Jordan fans, but then you turn around and when push comes to shove, you pretend, oh no, Jordan's my guy, but or something like that.
That man, listen, and I'm a Dreamers Pro guy. That's from the Dreamers Pro land of clickbait titles. That statement doesn't even make sense when you say it out loud. You know what I mean? He talks rings, Jordan fans panic. I can't name one person that I would ever consider panicking because LeBron brought up that you shouldn't have to win rings.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's projecting. Like that's what they want you to do, you know, and then they'll put the misleading title up there for rage and clickbait. But you know, I would say astute gentlemen like ourselves, that doesn't really bother us because we know that it's more than rings. Because y'all know it's their favorite little scenario. Well, Bill Russell's the GOAT. I'm like, okay, we'll say it. I'm like, Michael Jordan will say Bill Russell's the GOAT. So, I mean, you didn't say anything by bringing up Bill Russell other than, well, Bill Russell and Michael Jordan are better than LeBron. So do you really want to use that argument? But yeah, it's just to this point now, it's just getting redundant. It's like anything LeBron says, oh, Michael Jordan fans, like, why are Michael Jordan fans in the back of your mind?
Yeah, well, I didn't click on it, so it failed at having a good point and it failed at clickbait, but hold down the fort, gentlemen, for 2 minutes.
Yeah, they say the same thing about us, Hoops God. Oh, those old men just repeating the same thing over and over again. Yeah, because at least in my opinion, I've been alive long enough to see, Jordan play. You only saw highlights, literally the definition of what the problem of the sport is right now.
Yeah, and that's why I don't necessarily use rings as the foundation of my argument, but before I land my plane, I am gonna say no, but you have to win. But you have to do other things as well. Like I gotta see, are you dominant on both sides of the floor? Are you easy to play with? Can you adjust when the team needs you? You know, are you coachable? Do you show up in those 2-for-1 situations? Do you know how to manipulate defenses? Like, I ask a plethora of questions, but everything I ask, if I mention anything about 6-0 or 5-2 or 4-2, well, or if it's about rings or Robert Ory, I'm like, okay, so now we're gonna move the goalpost to a
Michael
role
Jordan didn't
player.
open a school. He
You
didn't open a
know,
school. He didn't make a
Yeah.
promise.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense though when these guys talk, and that's why I always laugh at these clowns. Like I said, it's like debating a flat earther, man. You can't have a serious debate or conversation with these guys, Nick. I know you try, man, but it's impossible to argue or reason or try to reason. I mean, remember when these guys came on here, what they were trying to say? It was insane. But I mean, if they were honest with themselves and really objective, and they just sat back and looked at the way LeBron James went about his career, it's clear for you to see that he was chasing rings, and the way that he went about it. Listen, there's nothing wrong with chasing rings, but the way he went about it was what? He tried to take a shortcut there. That's what we all talk about. Michael Jordan wasn't chasing rings. Michael Jordan was trying to earn rings. Earn them. That's different. Most of the great players out there are trying to earn their rings. It doesn't necessarily matter how many you win, because if you can earn just at least one the right way, it's going to matter, because there are so many great players that never even won one. But the way that LeBron James went about his career, by chasing rings the wrong way, but then you're going to have these FYF clowns, these Go Jane Kingdom fools come up here talking about, Michael Jordan fans are panicking. How are we panicking, or a Michael Jordan fan panicking, when the man was 6-0 and he earned the respect and went about the right way? Michael Jordan didn't have to change or cheat or manipulate anything to win his championships.
I was gonna throw one more layer onto like the rings argument too. If LeBron played for 30 years and he won 7 rings and 7 MVPs, it still would not put him over Jordan, right? What Jordan did and the amount of time he did and how he dominated in almost every facet of the game, his two-way ability, is what we respect as fans and as people who watch this game and know the game. How dominant were you? Like, how good was your good? And simply trying to accumulate over Jordan over time does not prove you are a better player or were as good as him, right? That's like another thing. They're really not understanding that it is everything that Jordan did in his totality in those, what we'll just call 11 full healthy years with the Bulls, that it just blew people's minds. It just took their breaths away every time he went out there. And you just knew he was going to win, and he just went out there and did his business, and he did it in a way we had never seen before, right? So that's ultimately the difference.
He wants the consensus to be about longevity now and the cumulative totals. When at one point, don't get me wrong, I think the accumulative records, they did have like some significance, but with him purposely trying to do it in, I would say, in a disingenuous manner, it's like he's taking the esteem off. Because prime example, you guys know I highly respect Tim Duncan. He has the most playoff blocks of all time, right? But I'm like, well, why does that not get brought up? If you're going to tell me about a guy who made the most points in the playoffs, well, what about the guy who rejected the most points? I mean, he's stopping guys from scoring, but we don't hear about that. Somehow that just gets left to the wayside. And then Hakeem Olajuwon, he has the most blocks of all time. So if you're going to big up the guy that's got the most all-time points, what about the guy that got the most all-time blocks? But see, we don't hear about that. I'm going to tell you, John Stockton. Oh, he's not even the top 5. Okay, he's not top 5, but he's number 1 in assists. You say LeBron's the greatest scorer because he's number 1 in all-time points, but Stockton's not in your top 5? I'm like, that's not consistent. You're contradicting yourself now.
I had a viewer comment that put the longevity or the stat thing into perspective. You guys have heard my analogy of, hey, I'm going to keep playing at the Y until I'm 70, and therefore I'm going to have the most points of anyone. But someone else was like, what if you're at the pickup court and at the end of the game, you lost, but the other team, or you won, but the other team comes up and says, yeah, but look at our stat sheet. Don't you think we actually won? If you think about it,
think about it. Also, I thought
that's their logic.
Guys, we can shoot through this fast, or we can spend time on it. I'm just gonna approach the Caitlin Clark thing as
AOH real quick before we.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I just want to throw this out there. To Nick's point, here's my thing: if by some miracle LeBron gets ring number 4, because it's 4, right? Do they start the rings matter talk up again?
Yeah, well, I'm sure they will. They have short-term memories.
Say that one more time.
If he wins another ring, do rings all of a sudden count the following season?
No, I've made this point before. No, because if he wins another ring, he's not going to be the reason why his team wins another ring. There will be another superstar like Luka, for example, who's going to be the main reason at this point in his career. That will be the main reason why his team wins another ring. It won't be the same.
Mike Lowry says, "Who played better defense, LeBron or Magic?"
Magic.
But hold on, sorry, but Speem, you are right. They will try.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what they say on Tuesday in terms of what they will say on Wednesday. It just doesn't matter anymore. Anyway, I feel like I swear I won't watch the WNBA. Some people might think that I deserve to be criticized for that. I should give it a try. The point is that I'm not interested, but when they try to get me interested, it's usually I see something about Caitlin Clark is getting beaten up by all these other mean people in the WNBA, and that's their way of trying to get you to come and watch it. And my question is it accurate, or are they overhyping that in order to get you to come in and come rushing to the rescue of Caitlin Clark? Or is there actually a lot of hatred toward Caitlin Clark due to jealousy or her being great or any other reason? How much is real and how much is manufactured, gentlemen?
I'll go first. So, I'm going to draw a quick analogy here, right? One of the great aspects, whether people want to admit it or not, about the Bird and Magic rivalry was the racial aspect of it, right? Whether you can deny it, you can hate it, you can like it, but it definitely is a part of it, right? Which is fine. To me, it just kind of adds to the spiciness, right? That's kind of all. It adds to the storyline. It's another layer if you want to go there, right? I think this is probably, again, whether you hate it or like it, the whole Caitlin Clark thing, there is, I think, a racial aspect there, whether it's real or not, whether they kind of are hyping it up or not. That is, I think, getting more casuals to come in. I do think that is happening. I'll say that. I think that aspect of it is kind of making it maybe bigger than it is, whether we like it or not.
Caitlin is really good though, right?
100%. Yeah. Like, isn't she already setting records for like quickest to ever do
my
points
follow-up
and assists or whatever?
My follow-up, in order to figure out if what you're saying, your take on this is accurate, is if her enemy was white, it wouldn't work. Her enemies need to be black in order for this to work.
No, because there is a little bit of like this whole jealousy aspect that is definitely there too. I think there are a lot of maybe girls who have been there longer or aren't making as much money off the court kind of thing.
No matter what their race, right?
Yes, but you can't deny the racial part of it, right? Her and the Angel Reese thing, like that's just spicy that people like, right? Again, whether we like it, if Angel Reese was someone else, right, and the race was not a part of it, then I don't think it would be as big as it is. Still be big, but I think that again, you have to think about viewership, right? The whole kind of racial thing brings in two huge crowds, a lot of eyeballs from either side, right? It's just kind of is what it is. So
we've come so far.
Yes and no. I think it's two prong. They're kind of, you kind of can't separate them in a way.
No, but listen,
Robin.
Yeah, I see. Hey, wait, you just said something there. You said we've come too far. But if you really think about the WNBA, how far has the WNBA really come?
Oh, it was a joke. I was joking.
No. But what I'm saying, I'm not saying that you're saying that in any kind of way. What I'm saying is the point. I'm trying to like highlight your point. The WNBA is still kind of new. It's still kind of young. It's not really as far along, obviously, as the NBA. That's why we laugh when these women try to claim or get upset because they're not getting the same money. Are you kidding me? Do you think the guys in the 50s were getting this money? the guys in the that's essentially where the WNBA is. They're in like the 60s or the 70s right now, if we think about this honestly. So if they haven't really been around that long, they have to go through this. These are the years. They're not dealing with a civil rights movement, you damn fools. You're not dealing with the small little wages. You're not dealing with the harshest life. So once again, can we please once again put some goddamn perspective on our lives here, ladies? Let's understand 100%. Where the hell you are in society. So I say all that to say this. As far as Nick talking about the black and white aspect, this is similar to the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson. You're going to tell me that Larry Bird and Magic Johnson didn't have a racial component to it? It absolutely freaking did. Larry Bird was seen as the great white hype, the great white hope for a lot of people, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay for you to get behind someone who looks like you doing what you do. If the best player in the NBA was an Asian dude, remember when Yao Ming came in? All of a sudden, all of the people in China were voting in the All-Star game. What the hell? It didn't matter if Yao Ming played 20 games. Everyone was voting Yao Ming for the All-Star team. Go look it up, guys. So once again, that is okay for the league to have that. They need that right now to get some popularity in the game.
Yeah, so what you're saying is it's not weird to gravitate toward your own like it's like you could call it racism, but like for a bunch of white people to want white representation is not crazy. For black people to want black representation is not crazy. So why wouldn't that add to it? You know?
It would, 100%, yeah.
And they're both good players. Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, they were good. They were great. Caitlin Clark is great by all accounts. Listen, I'm not a WNBA guy, guys. I don't watch this stuff. I'm not really into the women's sports like that. But what I've seen from her, a few highlights and things of that nature on social media, she can play the game, man. So obviously that's going to help. You're highlighting these things. And like I said, if she's playing the game the right way, if you feel like you can get behind her, there's nothing wrong with that.
Speam, I know you want to talk about it.
Yeah. Anytime somebody brings up Magic and Bird, it's almost offensive to compare Magic and Bird to Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese.
No, that's not what I'm doing. I'm just talking about the storyline, you know?
No, follow me. Because they do it in the media too. Because it's the only reason we're talking about Angel Reese is because she mocked Caitlin Clark in college. That's the only reason we're talking about her, and you're lying to yourself if you think otherwise. And it's really easy to make it a race-based argument because one's black and one's white. And what's the easiest thing to do? Divide people. And that's putting butts in the seats. Now, do they beat the shit out of Caitlin Clark? Yes. Man, they throw her all around. But does she flop a lot and piss and moan? Yes. But to your point, Robin, these are the growing pains. This is the stuff that you have to go through to get your league established. You can't be out here asking for more money and you're operating at a deficit. Your league is losing money every year and you're asking for a raise. Can you imagine you going to your job and doing that? But nobody talks about that stuff.
Larry and Magic may have hated each other on a competition level, but they respected each other. And I don't think that they did some of the trashy things. And Speam, you're the one who got me to watch that. You're the one who got me to watch that Angel Reese clip because you said that the only reason that she even got any notoriety was because of how disrespectful she was. And that thing where she got in Caitlin's face and was doing this and all that, I was like, damn, I might punch a woman in that case. Like that shit that shit was obnoxious. And that shit was not cool at all.
She got a sneaker deal out of it. You know, she got drafted high. I mean, she just got her first triple-double the other day and they acted like, you know, she won the Nobel Peace Prize. It's ridiculous.
You know what's crazy, man, is that some people are really out here, like I said, still trying to act as if, oh, woe is Angel Reese because of the racial aspects. And they're trying to say like, oh, look at the things or how they describe black women. I see people saying these things all the time and blah, 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 blah. Once again, let's live in reality and let's put perspective here. Are you guys trying to actually act as if she's the first person in the world of sports to go through this stuff? Or like she's being treated harsher than other women who have tried to break barriers down? Women like Billie Jean King, who had to play tennis, one of the first female tennis players. And you think about some of the women in tennis, think about someone like Arthur Ashe, who was one of the first black tennis players. Think about the barriers that Tiger Woods had to break down as a golfer. And we're talking about historically racist sports that you have these guys trying to break into. These are country clubs, essentially to keep out people like us. People who don't even have money to be in there. They're inclusive sports. They don't want you there. And these guys were breaking down barriers for that sport. You're telling me Jackie Robinson didn't go through some stuff, man? What the hell are we feeling bad for Angel Reese? Because she's got the money. She's got the hype. She's out here on social media. I see on podcasts. She's crying and moaning. I see people talking about the NBA girls should lower the rim down to like 9 feet. She was offended by those comments. Girl, you better wake up and get with the program. Y'all ain't never going to be like the NBA. And y'all got the audacity to come out here and talk like y'all should be getting some kind of money. You must have lost your damn minds.
Robin, not only did she not break through a barrier, but it sounds to me like she was rewarded for behaving poorly.
Yeah, I was going to say, you reminded me of that. I know we clown on Draymond Green a lot, but there was that one clip of him there's that barbershop setting, and there's a WNBA player who says, like, we need more help from the NBA. And Draymond says, wait a second, like, no one has supported y'all more and done more we essentially are the reason you even exist. And he kind of was like, hold on a second, you know what I mean? Like, give us a little bit. And she's like, you're right. Y'all done a lot, But I was like, all right, Draymond was right on that one. We can give him that one.
I better cover bases because I let me acknowledge that there's probably other people in the WNBA that aren't likable either. But who's being shown to me constantly? Yeah. Angel Reese. So don't expect me not to criticize who you're showing me. And as you guys said, Caitlin Clark has her reasons to be criticized. But like for Angel Reese to pose and sexy pictures and then come on and complain about being sexualized.
Thank you.
That's another one.
Is like going back to the 60s and having a black player say, I hate white people, and then be mad that he had a cross burned in his lawn. It's like
AOH, when you watch these interviews, it honestly looks like a Saturday Night Live sketch the way she talks out of both sides of her mouth. Let me dress half naked, which don't get me wrong, I've seen a couple of those, but then I'm going to complain about being sexualized. Oh, these people, I've been having these family threats, but I didn't file a police report. It's all professional victimhood. She's talking about how she can't afford her apartment. She was making over $1 million off her NIL deals. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's like old school victimhood.
I feel dumb and kind of dirty that we're talking about this.
Hey,
it is my fault, but ahead, we can move on.
It is like a hot topic right now. It's getting to a point where I don't know, like I think someone was kind of saying like the growing pains, like whether you kind of hate it or not, like this is good for the WNBA. Like they're gonna have to go through some things like this or what have you, and sort of, I hate to say it, but the lore is like being built in real time. As long as the WNBA exists in another 10 years, who knows? But this is like the beginning of a lot of backstories here and stuff like that.
No,
like a new era.
I mean, are we going to be honest? And I mean, once again, if you think about someone like Rex, shout out to Rex, who used to come on here all the time with us, or shout out to Dartman. He used to educate, and he still does, about the history of basketball and the evolution of things like the rims, how they're being hung, things of that nature, the basketball, the material, how these balls were back in the day. So you think about the evolution of the NBA, they changed the lanes because of guys like George Mike and the Will Chamberlains, right? And then you think about them adding in a three-point line. There was many people, I'm sure, that were against that was like, hey, let's not change the way the game is, that we don't need a three-point line. There may have been a lot of players that maybe thought that was a gimmick, that kid was coming over from the ABA, but they were still innovative to think about this. This is going to push the game forward. This is going to bring more people in to enjoy the game. This is actually going to help other people play the game, because now you're adding another aspect that people can become good in. They become great in, a three-point shooter now. That was never a job before. Now all of a sudden you can be a three-point specialist in the NBA. So you're opening up the league to different kinds of players that play different play styles. So if we think about the WNBA, why would you not want to make a change? Why would you not want to bring the rim down a little bit? If all of a sudden you guys turned on a WNBA game and you saw freaking Angel Reese flying through the air, dunking the ball, man, wouldn't you be like, hold on a second here. Let me see what's going on right now. You would be like, what's going on?
Nah, reminds me of what we used to do in 8th grade and lower the rim down to like 8 feet.
Word.
A few people actually chimed in on this, so let me get their voices included. Bookmark with the super chat says, respect guys, great stream. Thank you, Bookmark. And then more specifically about what we're talking about, we have McZuggan saying that the ABA relied on making their games better than NBA. WNBA relied on social guilt. Now social drama, loose balls, amazing ABA interview book.
Wow.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, I was gonna say in terms of like the evolution of the game and earning it in terms of the WNBA, like I'm not too impressed with Angel Reese's game. Like she's just a big ugly, right? And she works the boards, whatever,
Is
right?
a big what?
She's a big ugly.
No, stand on it, Nick.
What'd you say?
Big ugly.
Call
Metaphorically speaking, of course, if her team is watching me, don't sue me or whatever. But anyways, yeah, and then but Caitlin Clark is truly like watching her is fun. I will admit, like seeing her, do what she does from the 3-point line and being kind of the first of the WNBA to do things like that. It is kind of cool to kind of track and progress and see where she's at, right? So I have been impressed with Caitlin Clark, even from a sort of skill wise, and like she's really, from what I know, she's on pace to essentially rewrite the WNBA record book.
Jolly Joshins with a very generous super chat. Thank you, sir. Says, yes, the Larry Magic rivalry had a racial element, but at the end of their careers, both of them and their fans respect each other's greatness, which actually helped race relations. Something I don't see these women doing. Yeah, don't you almost feel like we're going backwards?
True.
In a fantasy world, you would think that we'd be past needing to race bait, but we're not anywhere near as far as we want to be.
This is not race bait, man. Listen. Yeah, no, this ain't nothing like that. What Charlie Johnson brings up when he talks about the respect here, see, he mentioned the word respecting there and talking about how that helps race relations. I want you guys to think about history of some of the guys that I just mentioned and some of the things that they were going through. You think that Bill Russell didn't carry himself with class, with dignity, and didn't earn the respect of a lot of those white people that couldn't stand him, that hated his guts? He earned the respect. You think about someone like Arthur Ashe that I mentioned. Look at the way Arthur Ashe carried himself. That's why he was able to break into a sport like tennis, because he carried himself with class, with honor. Tiger Woods, he carried himself a certain way, so you're able to get through. That was Jackie Robinson's greatest quality. That's why they chose him, because of the qualities that he had, his personality, what was inside of him. He wasn't the best Negro baseball player, Jackie Robinson, but they took him for a reason. They knew they could put him out there and he could represent the black people out there in a way that he did. So all of these years later, we talk about LeBron James and what you're representing. What's the legacy that you're leaving? Look at the way that you've carried yourself. You haven't represented your way the way that Michael Jordan has. That's just the facts.
Somebody liked your humor, Steam Engine. Everybody mark this date in history.
Let me screenshot this. Hold on.
Praise the Dawn says, I didn't file a police report. Steam Engine funny as hell.
Thank you. Praise the Dawn. And all of my everyone that tuned in. Appreciate it.
Hey, did anyone see the interview with Magic and Larry together on David Letterman many years later? They just conducted themselves with such class. It was, I only posted it just so people could see what men are supposed to behave like. Both of them. Shout out to both of them.
Yeah, real quick I was gonna say on the Magic and Larry, like the racial aspect of that was purely almost for the fans, right? While I'm sure it is on everyone's mind, even when you play on the court and stuff, they just, like we were saying, it was totally organically built on competition, right? And the racial aspect was a thing that was simply for the fans to add to the lore. That's not really, I don't think, something how they saw it. It's, of course, it's always kind of there, right? Like, oh, here's the flashy West Coast run and gun, Lakers, and then here's the blue collar, East Coast, white guys, right, or whatever. It's more for us. But like with the Angel Reese and the Caitlin Clark thing, it does feel as if it is on the players' minds, like they're almost trying to do it, or is a thing they're thinking about actively. That is something that is kind of what people were hinting at. It's very different this time around.
I set the tone with the super chat. It says I'm still playing old ass baller from the 90s. Caitlin Clark is the white MJ23 female version. That's saying a lot. Conversely, Angel Reese is LeBum. I will say I watch WNBA over NBA currently. Sadly, that's a big deal when the WNBA can win you over from the NBA. And man, I guess geez, one is being compared to Jordan and the other one to LeBron. They're keeping that whole. That's a lot. That's polarity in the fan base.
Caitlin Clark really a Michael Jordan comparison,
she's
guys?
like
Come
a
on.
Steph Curry to me.
Not yet.
I didn't say it.
It's like comparing Steph Curry and LeBron's game. When you go back and you look, most rational people will tell you they loved watching Steph Curry play because it was just poetic. Or like Kyrie Irving, you loved watching him play. Who loves watching LeBron James play? Who loves watching Angel Reese throw up 6 shots on the same possession and get 5 rebounds? You know what I mean? When you talk to real life people and not just blogs and all that, they'll tell you like, no, this is what I'd rather be watching. Which is why I've always said the argument could be had that this was Steph Curry's league for a long time, and just kind of nobody wanted to say it.
Caitlin's a pretty good passer too, right? From what I've seen.
Yeah,
she's great.
Got skills.
Yeah.
I gotta get rolling here, guys.
Yep. Let's wrap it. I appreciate everybody being here. Appreciate everyone in the comments. Appreciate L Exhibit sharing his creativity. Appreciate you guys being here. And I'm going to go get some exercise, finish editing the 91 finals, and then go watch the current finals because it is it's better. It's better
Game
than
7.
Game 7. You gotta watch Game 7, right?
Game 7, man. Like you said, you got an underdog versus a heavy favorite. Shout out to everybody in the chat that came through. Thank you for all the support, guys. Thank you to all the super chats and all. Like I said, man, it means a lot, guys. Thank you very much. Hey, yo, you guys be good, man. You guys have a good rest of your Sunday, man. And I'll catch you guys on the next one, man.
All right. Rob.